Why hello all, welcome back to another video. Today we are doing another art tutorial, which I haven't done in quite a while, but this is something that I've been seeing people struggle with on the internet a lot, and I wanted to share some of the tips and tricks that I have learned over the years of drawing curly hair and braids. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial, and my voice is going to be a little wonk because I'm sick. First things first, when it comes to curly hair, I would suggest having a people to draw it onto. If you're just practicing drawing strands, that's fine, but I just grabbed this random base from a sketch that I have been procrastinating on for, I think 2 years. So, I'm going to be doing some base tips and tricks on how curly hair works, as well as kind of a tutorial, and at least how I like to draw it. So, when it comes to curly hair, there's a couple things that you want to remember, but a lot of these things can also apply to just drawing hair normally. I like to start with a part line. So draw in the center of the head or on the other side, wherever you want your part to be, which is basically where the left and right half of the hair split. And this is where all of your hair is going to come from. This is the direction that every piece of your hair is going to be going. It's either going to be going this way or it's going to be going this way. Now, when you draw straight hair or hair that is styled, has some weight to it, stuff like that, you're going to be drawing the strands like this. They're going to curve over the shape of the head. They might gain some volume if there's a lot stacked on top of each other, but most of the time they're going to follow the shape of the head. Now, when it comes to curly hair are basically spirals of strands like this, which means that they have a lot more volume to them. And so instead of going like this, curly hair is going to come up from the part in an arc like this. Now, when I draw curly hair, I like to start with an outline of the basic shape of the hair. If I'm drawing a fro of any kind, you do a little circle. If I'm drawing a more stylized version, maybe a bun on top of the head with some curls draping down, I just like to make a little sketch that ultimately I will fill out with curls in the end, because I've seen curly hair designs that work like drawing real hair where you just draw a strand at a time, but when it comes to curly hair, that takes so long. So I think the strategy of outlining things works so much better just time-wise. But if you want to do each strand by itself and get really detailed in there, that is also absolutely an option. Now, I know this is an ugly little outline. I'm going to show an actual representation of how I draw curly hair in a minute. This is just quick sketches to show you guys how the concept works. Now, when I draw curly hair, no straight lines. Absolutely not. None of this. Unless you're drawing very loose, wavy hair, I don't want any straight lines in there, alright? I want to see squiggles. And usually, these squiggles are going to be S-shaped. Do you see that? S-shaped. And a lot of the times, if you want face framing looks, you're going to have the S's, the top wiggle, I guess, arch here, facing the face. So if they're on this side, that arch is going to be facing this direction. If they're on this side, that arch is going to be facing this direction. And I'm going to draw it like a normal strand, almost like that. And then I'm just going to stack them on top of each other, filling each area of the hair, following my outline a little bit. Alright, now that I've got this sketched up, and yes, you might notice down here in the bar, I have a little picture of the same hairstyle. That's because I've already done this tutorial before for a friend of mine, and I didn't feel like redrawing the same hairstyle to basically practice. So I have my base curly hairstyle up here. You can see it's just pretty loose. It's just there. You can see that over here, hang on. Over here I have my part line right through the hair right there. And you can see that I still have that angling those directions that I showed you in the prior step. If you have hair pulled up, the arc should be going this way, or if you have hair pulled to the back, it should be going this way, yada yada, all of that kind of stuff. Directionality with hair is very important, especially depending on how you style it. But when it's just down like this, you want the arc to be flowing downwards. When you are texturing curly hair, and I showed this in the braid tutorial, which you will be seeing later on in the video, you don't want to just do random squiggles. Like, that's not gonna look good at all. you want to follow the direction of the hair. And I know it's really, really easy to just be like, oh, I'm gonna put like some squiggles here. No, when you're texturing and adding extra lines to give the hair depth, you're going to follow the direction of the curl. All right, you see how that curl is going this way? So if I'm texturing, I'm going to add this line going this way. I'm gonna put some examples up on the screen so you guys can see other times I've used this technique. Now, we've moved to a different drawing. This one is actually finished, so admire her and all her beauty. I drew this one for school a while back. We are moved here because I want to show off how we are going to be drawing Afro texture hair, 4C hair, kinky hair, whatever the term you want to use for it is. And I think I said this in the beginning of the video, but if I didn't, I want to say right now, I am not a person who has curly textured hair. In real life, I have kind of wavy-ish hair. I don't know, it does whatever it wants to do. So if you are a person with curly, kinky, any texture of hair like that, please let me know in the comments down below if I did anything wrong, or if there's anything that you feel like I could do to draw the kind of hair that you have better. But the way that I do Afro textured hair is basically little teeny tiny squiggles. Basically these little example squiggles that I did when I was showing how curly hair works, I just do those but on a small scale. Now these ones I've done in black, reason being that I've basically just wanted her to have a darker hair color. She's brunette, I wanted her hair to look dark. But if you are drawing a blonde person, or if you are drawing someone just with any other lighter hair color, you can absolutely change the color of your little coils here. So basically the way that I've done this is in my original sketch, I made an outline of what I wanted her hair to look like. I wanted there to be these little bubble braids, I wanted there to be these twists in the front, and I wanted her to have these like crown braids here in the front as well. And then I filled that little outline that I had made with color so that I could layer the little spiralies that I was gonna draw over top. Once I had done that, I started adding my little texture curls. You can see right here, teeny details. Basically, I just went in and I did little teeny tiny spirals over and over and over again. It is kind of time consuming and it does take a while, but it is worth it to get an accurate texture. That means you can do so much with this texture of hair, and it's why it's really fun to draw, because there's so many different things that you can do with it outside of just regular hairstyles like ponytail, whatever. Like you can straight up make like some crazy anime style hair things like this. Alright, now we are on to braids, and I know that this was kind of like an off subject, I guess, part of the video, but I saw a lot of people who were struggling with drawing just regular 3-strand braids, and I tend to know how to do that, so I thought I might as well throw that in there as a little bonus tutorial. So I'm basically going to be showing you how to draw normal, just like regular 3-strand braids, and if you guys want me to make a full video on various different braid styles, let me know, because there are a lot of styles of braids. We are going to start with a squiggle. That is basically the center line of a braid. So you're going to draw a little squiggle. The closer together your squiggles are, the tighter your braid is going to be. So pick whichever goes best for whatever you're trying to achieve with your braid here. So in order to mimic that squiggly style, we're going to draw a second little swirly here that connects to our first swirly, but going in the opposite direction. And then we have a lot of empty gaps here, so we're just going to be filling in those empty gaps with these little arches. And you're going to meet the other side of your loop. You're going to start at one loop, end at the other loop. Just draw these little arches in between. Now we can already see our braid shape starting to form. So the way that we're going to texture this further is we are basically going to start detaching and erasing some of these lines that we made from our original squiggles. Once we've done all of that, if you're working on a tablet, turn your opacity down. If you're not working on a tablet, then just find a different color to draw with. And we are going to start defining and shaping our little areas that we've made. Don't fight against the shape that you've drawn. If this shape wants to be like this, I'm not going to try to make it go a different direction or do something else than it was already doing. There we go, just darkened up the green on that layer a little bit. So once you've defined all of your shapes, as you can see how I've done here, you're going to want to basically start drawing the ends and texturing. I'm going to explain some of what I did here because I realized that I went off camera and probably a lot happens. When you're drawing your braid, you want everything to wrap around. So when you have the curve of your squiggle here, you see how instead of having that arch like this, I wrapped this piece of hair around it. So if the piece of hair is wrapped around it, it's going to form more of this straight line instead of this curved upwards angle. And that's basically how you're going to get this kind of look that gives it more of a hair texture and less of a just like cool shape texture. Because I know it can get difficult to differentiate between these two when you're drawing braids. When you're texture, you're going to want to focus on tension points. Points where the hair would be pulling on itself or another strand. So here, that strand is going to be pulled on through here. This strand is getting pulled through here, through here, through here, so on and so forth. And so you're going to start drawing lines that go in those directions. Now, it's very possible that you're sitting there at home going, I still don't know what I'm doing, and panicking or something like that. First of all, let me tell you, I'm sure your drawing is not as bad as you think it is. We are all our own worst critiques. And second of all, practice always, always, always makes perfect. So if you're struggling with this technique, I just say try it over and over and over again. That's what I do when I'm learning new skills. So, after you've textured your braid to the point where you're happy with it, you're going to start ending it off. Now, the way I like to do it is just do a little box at the end. And that is going to be where your hair tie is. Strands, I like to do these kind of spirally shapes, like that. And once you're happy with the end of it, then you've got your braid. Now, you're going to change how things work for longer braids, for shorter braids. Basically, I'm just going to give you some simple advice and not draw out a whole nother braid, just to show you the mechanics of it. If you're drawing a lot of little braids, like if you're giving a character cornrows or something along those lines, you're going to want to make it more straight. The braid is going to conform to more of a straight line because those kind of braids are very, very tight and they're very, very long. So they don't tend to have this kind of wiggly texture that you might get with a larger, thicker braid. So they're going to go down in almost an exact straight line. So when you're drawing your squiggles, I would recommend drawing something like this shape that I did here in order to keep your braid within the same parameters and not get it so wiggly. If you're drawing braids that are going to be very, very short, you're going to keep them very, very wide, because if you are drawing a short hair braid, the hair is going to puff out more because there's less length to weigh it down. We are on a random time lapse of another drawing that I've made because I realized as soon as I finished filming that I didn't make an outro. So, in the comments below, let me know if there's any art tutorials that you guys would want me to cover in the future, and I will be trying to keep an eye on them in case you have any questions or for your suggestions about any other tutorials I should do. I will do my best to answer all of your questions and situations that you might have to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and that it was helpful for you. Bye!